right, Shannon, interesting topic of conversation here. Should Joel have played last night, or should he have rested a little more?
I think the thing is that Joel wanted to test the knee. I mean, he's going to go out there and go, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
I don't think he moved bad, Skip. If you look, he had 5 block shots in the first half.
Yeah.
He was challenging stuff at the rim on a bum leg. You see how quick Jason Tatum crossed him over, went to his left hand, Embiid erased it.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown tried to flush on him. He's like, no, not today. So I thought he moved fairly well, Skip. He only took 9 shots. Is he the same Joel Embiid? No, obviously not. He has that knee brace on, and he knows he can't move as freely. He's restricted. He can't do some of the things that he normally would do. I agree. I believe, I'm going to let Joel take another day off, and I'm going to see if we can steal another by letting James Harden be Houston James Harden, and then go from there. You have to play different, Skip. That guy's the MVP. 33 and 10. He's the first guy to average 33 and 10 since Bob McAdoo did it in 74, 75 for the Buffalo Braves.
Yep.
74, that's almost 50 years ago, Skip. So, of course, James Harden's going to play different. He has to play different.
Yeah.
He's not going to – there ain't no way James Harden can get 30 shots and have Joel Embiid in the game. So how many shots you going to give Joel?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, it flips around. And James Harden did look he's tentative. Because the space is not there like it was when Joel is not there. Joel's not there, Skip. There's, he can get down, but Joel's going to be there in the game. So I think I would have, Skip, I would have let him, I'd have gave him another day or two off. Because when they play again Friday, or Saturday.
You know what? I'm not even sure. I think it's Friday, but yeah, Game 3's in Philadelphia.
Yeah, yes.
Maybe it's Saturday.
Skip, I would have let him come. I would have let him come back for the home crowd, and they gave him a couple of more days of rest and test it out. But I wouldn't have brought him back But I thought defensively he had more of an impact on the defensive end than he did the offensive end, and that's because he only had a limited amount of touches. Now let's see if he doesn't have any setbacks. There's no soreness in the knee, because that's going to be the telltale. Does the knee blow up, Skip? And now he's out.
Probably will swell, if I have my guess.
Well, he's gonna be sore than what he was last night. So yeah, I've said it before, Skip. I don't know why you're risking it. I would have gave him a couple of days if I'd have brought him back anyway. Skip, the last thing, man. I understand. This happens every year. Your next round, man. Look, all I know is that Joel Embiid is the MVP, and I want to try to keep him as healthy. I don't want them to keep having to go in that knee, Skip. There's only so many times. Ask Kawhi. There's only so many times you're going to go into the body until the body start, man, I'm tired of y'all going to me. I'm finna start breaking down.
That is correct. That's Kawhi. Start to finish. Mostly finish.
I would not have played Joel Embiid last night. But I told you that yesterday.
You did. I did tell you yesterday, I thought Joel could help on rim protection, but only on rim protection. So what did I see in the first half? I saw Boston come out, and they did not believe in his knee. And with the giant brace on it, they just said, let's attack him. And we're either going to get him in foul trouble or expose him as a statue in the lane. And we'll just be blowing by him and going up and under him and over him and dunking on him and all that. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That did not happen, that did not work. But they tried hard in the first half. That was their game plan.
Yeah.
Let's attack.
Yeah.
He blocked 5 shots, but only in the first half, because by halftime they said, okay, that's enough of that. Let's shoot threes. Because their larger plan last night was, we just didn't get up enough threes in game 1. Well, they shot 51 last night, and they made 20. And as Joel said after the game, they just made shots.
Yeah.
And as everybody said, everybody's using Doc's famous line, it's make or miss. And last night it was make for the Celtics because they made 23s.
And the other team made 6.
And it sounds like what we're about to talk about, Warriors-Lakers, except the script was flipped on that one. Okay, all I know is that at the end of the first quarter, the Philadelphia 76ers, who led the league in three-point shooting and in free throw shooting, they were 1 for 12 from 3. Well, you're probably going to lose. You're probably going to get blown off Boston's floor, and you eventually did. This is why I was so concerned and so disturbed and so disappointed in what I saw last night. I'm hoping against hope that Joel could be just good enough to inspire the team, and it didn't have that effect. He had negative impact on this game, even though he blocked those 5 shots. The Celtics said, okay, we'll shoot threes. And they're raining threes. It felt like more than 20. But again, for them, that was a lot of attempts.
See,
and a lot
Brogdon hit all four of his back to back to back.
He did. Like every time I looked up, it's like, another one?
Yeah.
Another one? Good. And Derek White's bombing them from everywhere. Okay, here's the big problem. On offense, Joel Embiid was statuesque because he doesn't trust it. Because you can't go. You can't push off. You can't. He was hesitant to give it a hard go, like to really launch on.
Because he doesn't normally Skip, a guy that normally wears a knee brace. Tom Brady is uninhibited because he's worn a knee brace for the last decade. Peyton Manning wore the knee brace basically his whole career.
Got it.
John Elway wore one. Joel Embiid doesn't normally wear a knee brace. He's like, man, and you see him constantly pulling up, Skip, because he's constantly.
It's awkward.
Yes.
It doesn't feel right. So the problem was he was so slow-minded on offense because he'd get the ball and think, okay, should I?
No, you just can't go, Skip.
Okay.
You know that you can't just go in.
Okay.
If anybody that's had a knee problem, and I've had one trying to play football, it's a block. You know.
Okay. So the ball was stopping, and it was stopping, and it was staying with Joel as he tried to figure out, could I try this or maybe I'd try that? The clock ticked. They get to the end of the clock, and everything bogged and clogged.
Yes.
And it looked nothing like it looked in game one.
No.
So I'm with the premise. And again, is this an easy second guess? Is this perfect 20/20 hindsight? Yes, it is. I agree. But I also was of a mind yesterday that I loved the spirit with which they attacked Boston in game one because it was free flowing. It was just like whoever's got it on, let's push the pace, let's take threes, let's let it fly. Okay. Well, with Joel, they were kind of watching and waiting on Joel. You're going to go?
No.
You're going to do this?
Skip, but I looked at it like the same thing as the Miami Heat took the approach they took with Jimmy Butler. Well, we stole game one. Let's give him an extra day.
Okay, and let's see what we can do because there would have been far more pressure on Boston last night if Joel sits because they all know in the backs of their minds, the MVP is not playing again. We have to win this game. So maybe they're a little shaky-handed on their three-point shots early on, and maybe it starts to go south.
Right.
And maybe Tyrese Maxey just gets off, and maybe James feels like Houston James.
Right.
Look, want to know this is what I was seeing from James Harden, and you can make the case that he just doesn't take care of himself, so he can't give you back-to-back 45-point games. He just doesn't have that kind of just sort of durability at this point in stage of his career. He's not that old. He's 33 years of age, but he just doesn't look in great shape. Okay, you can make that case. But you know what his body language looked to me like last night? It looked pouty to me. It looked like, okay, the MVP is back, and I have to go back to being the guy who led the league in assists.
Right.
I don't love it because he was half-hearted last night. He did not attack. He watched, and he shot without a lot of conviction. And obviously, if he's going to go from 45 points to 2 of 14 and 0 of 6 from 3, you are going to lose because Joel can't give you much on offense. All he can do is stand under the rim, and if you come at him, he's going to go up, and he's 7'1". He's going to block your shot.
Right. Skip, I just think the thing is, like, you know what we say, Skip. We gotta say it up here. If you're on the court, hey, because my thing is, let's just say Joel Embiid gives you 30 and 15 with that same bum knee. We're not having this discussion.
No.
Even if they lose, we're not having this discussion. So for me, and that's the thing you have to, as a player, you have to always guard against. You have to understand. All the fans see is Embiid on the back of the jersey in 21.
Yeah.
That's what they see.
Okay, I got it. I was hoping against hope that Joel would come out and say, I just won the MVP. He did interviews all day long, which probably took something out of him.
True.
That's not a way to get ready for a big game two, right?
Yeah.
But I was hoping he would step on the floor and say, you know what? They finally validated what I believe I am, the best player in this league. I'm going to back it up tonight. What if he'd come out with a tenacity, with a, dare I say, a fury, and just been in attack mode? The problem is he's got a little tear in his knee, and he doesn't trust it.
Yeah.
So
a little tear on that one
is 300 and some pounds, whatever. Okay. It's not his nature to go in attack mode. He always looks like he's kind of laissez-faire about everything because it comes so easily for him, and he won MVP playing at that sort of middle RPM.
And what he's going to find out, Skip, even though he was a tremendous player, you want to say top 5, you want to say whatever you want to list him as, there's a different level of expectation now that you have those 3 alphabets.
Okay, that's true.
That MVP, because Skip, nobody, see, before when they introduced Joel Embiid, they introduced 3-time, 4-time All-Star, an All-NBA selection. MVP Joel Embiid precedes him coming into the building now. There's a different level of expectation.
So are you saying be careful what you wish for?
Whoa. Now, I'm not saying he's going to get the LeBron treatment because very few guys have gotten that treatment.
Yeah.
But, man, when things don't go well, they blame you. Ask KD. Ask Steph. I mean, that's what comes along with when you get that MVP, Joel Embiid MVP.
Yeah.
There's a different level of expectations. Now, there's expectations, Skip, when you're a great player, a superstar player. But when you become an MVP, it's your fault. I don't care what happened. If it's not good, it's your fault.
Okay, I got it. Look, this team won 54 games somehow, some way.
Right.
And it was because they were in sync, in rhythm. James embraced his role. He did lead the league in assists.
Right.
He seemed to enjoy playing with and off of Joel. They seemed like a good pick and roll fit.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, everything went haywire.
Right.
Because Joel did get hurt. He did miss a couple of weeks. And unfortunately, they won game 1 without him.
Right.
Because the former superstar, who's James Harden, turned back into Houston James. And now they're completely out of whack. I don't love it. I don't love what they're up against because Boston regained its momentum and sort of refound itself.
And they did this with Jason Tatum scoring 7 points.
That's all you need to know is, wasn't it the lowest output of his playoff career? Not that he's had a huge playoff career, but 7 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
He only played, he got in foul trouble, took him out of a rhythm. And, he didn't even play 20 minutes.
He did not. Jaylen Brown did exactly what he did in game 1. He set the tone in the first quarter, and they followed. And they ignited, and that crowd got behind them. And it feels like they think they're just better than Philadelphia, who now goes home with big question marks about who are we, how are we going to do this. Shannon, I got to tell you, I've loved this team all year. I do not love its chances at all.
Right.
In fact, I will not at all be surprised if Boston wins the next 3 games.
Wow.
It just feels like that. I couldn't see a 6 or 7. I know you overreact from night to night in NBA playoff.
Right.
But still, I'm going on what my gut is telling me, what that little voice in the back of my head is telling me, that they lost their way last night because they don't know how to get the MVP back into the flow with a bum knee. Well, listen.
All the while needing James Harden to give you a little Houston.
Okay, you need some Houston, and he's not comfortable because he's like, well, do you want me to be the guy? Because he's the MVP.
Right.
Well, now that he won the MVP, now it makes it even worse on James, right?
Right.
I don't know how they regain the footing that they used to have, because the last time I'd seen him against Boston full strength in the regular season, it took 52 points from Joel Embiid to beat Boston.
Right.
He just took the game over.
Yeah, but Skip, he's not going to be able to move like he did that night.
He won't do it
for the rest of this series with that knee brace on and that knee.
You can't do that anymore. You don't have that. I don't like their chances. I just don't.
I ain't going to give up on them just yet.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.